Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things we're talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. We'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. We'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
arrived. To demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand
First Contact Radio. We have arrived. First Contact. Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome back from the weekend. Glad you could be here. Let's look into things today. It is the 19th of May. So we see that we have a transition that took place between our moon signs. Over the weekend, our moon sign was in Capricorn at 4:58 a.m. Pacific time. It made a transition from Capricorn into Pisces. Pisces is an air sign. Despite the fact you see the squiggly lines that look like water, it is an air sign. Air signs are all about words and actions. The words and actions that we speak in order to be able to move the energy along. Aquarius, we also think about futuristic things because we think of the age of Aquarius that everyone was excited about. Well, the age of Aquarius was about futuristic times, thinking of those good times up ahead. We have a trine going on later tonight between our moon sign, Aquarius, and Mars. So Mars, remember, is a lot of life force energy, and it can be passionate or it can be aggressive depending upon how it is channeled. A nice positive trine shows that between these ideas of Aquarius and the ideas of Mars is a nice good balance going on, nice good harmony. Okay, and our sun sign is for the moment still in Taurus, but that will be changing over the next couple days. Numerology for today, we're at a number 4. Here's how we arrived at that number. 5, today's the 19th, 1 plus 9, and the year 2014. So that's the 5, the 10, the 7, adds up to a 13, and 1 plus 3 equals 4. So today's a 4. 4 would be the Emperor. He who sets an order is the name associated with this. He is the Hebrew letter. And you can see the Emperor color red because Mars is the energy around this. And it's all about organizing, putting things in order. He is one of the 4 letters of the names of God, Yod-He, Vav-He, and it is showing that there is order within the universe, how it is structured together. If we look here, we could see some of the other characteristics of the 4: discipline, strong, stable, pragmatic. The negative side, opposite of that, lack of imagination or emotions, no empathy, unorganized. Look over here on our tree. See where we're at here. Here's our Emperor, or 4 for today, going from wisdom, things we've learned, back to the heart. So to organize, the Emperor takes the wisdom and organizes it into a place where it can be used by the heart in a usable, organized manner. Our Taurus is right here, and our moon sign right down here, Aquarius. It's going from our emotions or victory into the foundation. Okay. Moon phase currently is a waning moon, means going back down to a new moon. 72% of the way full, making our way there. On this week's sky map, right here, Monday the 19th. Now that Vega is well up in the northeast in the evening, look to its lower left, but 2 to 3 fists for Deneb. As Deneb rises higher through the night, a dark sky will reveal that it lies inside the Milky Way band, looming all across the eastern sky. Okay, no graphic for that until next couple days, but looking for Deneb to the lower left of the moon tonight. Okay. Mayan Oracle, we are at a 6-tone day in the wave spell of the warrior. Warriors using the mind, the intelligence, in order to stay out of a bad situation. Warrior doesn't have to fight. Warrior can fight, but doesn't have to. Warrior can use intelligence, so as not to fight. So that's our challenge as we go throughout the day in this wave spell, this theme. Today we're at the point of rhythm, the rhythmic tone along this way. And the rhythmic path is a path of equality. The guide for today is also the dragon. So it's dragon, which is birth, guided by birth. We have the mirror, which is our reflection, and it's our like-minded energy. The challenge for today is the monkey, playfulness, and our hidden power is our own ability to express our enlightenment. The phrase for today is I organize in order to nurture balancing energy. I seal the input of birth with the rhythmic tone of equality. I am guided by my own power doubled. Spaceweather.com, our solar wind is 348.2 kilometers per second. Planetary K index is quiet at the moment. Coronal holes, nothing much there. Slight bit down here. Not sure if that's going to be facing our way or not. M-class flare possibility is only at 20% now. X-class is at 5, and geomagnetic storm activity is pretty low. So nothing really going on up there in the space area around us. And on the Jewish calendar, today would be a 19 liar. All right, there you go. That's the energy around us to get us started. Just remember, it's all about looking at all of the different ways in which we interpret energy, because that's all this is. Astrology is just interpreting energy. It's not something you give power up to. Numerology is the same thing. It's interpreting it. The Mayan Oracle, all of these systems are looking at energy so that when we go out into the world, we can make our way through the world a little bit easier, because we understand a little bit more of how this energy might be working. And then as you go in the world, well, that's a whole nother thing we're dealing with, because now it's becoming practical. Now we're actually facing the world and we're dealing with the situations at hand. But somehow having a little bit of knowledge about what's going on makes all the difference in the world. All right, UFO news is up next. Let's get to it.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk, thank you very much. Today's sighting takes us up to Mars, and looks like what was found here is possibly a skull. Here's the image in stone, and with the sand around it, here's what it possibly looks like there. Link to the original image. Something that is real evidence that this could be an ancient skull is the ridge of the eye socket. Compare both skulls and you will see a lot in common. The eye socket nasal cavity behind the eye above the bone ridge. Okay, so it's talking about these things here. There's the eye, so there's a good possibility. It says, thank you to Mike A for sending over this picture of what looks to be a dinosaur skeleton on Mars. He attached a picture of a similar skull found on Earth. This is not far-fetched considering the other dinosaur videos I have made from pictures on Mars. Please take a look at it. Let Mike know what you think. Video is 9 minutes 29 seconds in length, so we're not going to check out the whole thing. I'm just going to make the link available so you can go and check it out. See what was found. Okay, I'm going to leave that link and move on. Now we have an update on, remember the other day you saw the rocket get hit down by the UFO? Well, this is an update. It says 8 UFOs fall in China after a Russian rocket gets hit by a UFO. Okay, these are the objects they're finding here. We've got lots of news sources confirming all of this here. Sources from around the world. And pretty interesting what they found here. I had 5 more photos and news changed the UFO number. Now they say 8 fell over China, 5 more than they reported on the first day. Very interesting what that might be. Whatever that is, don't know. Hey everyone, this just hit China news a few hours ago. 3 UFOs fell from the sky to land in 2 different provinces in China. People got a few photos. but then China government people appeared really fast and stopped them and made the people leave. This looks like part of the UFO that hit the Russian rocket hours earlier. I told you the report, it looks like an orb UFO hit the rocket, but they found 3 of them. They are in the hands of the Chinese now. Interesting, interesting, interesting. It says subsequently the villagers photographed the UFO. According to photos, such as the round metal UFO peripheral package has jagged circle edges and look like the monk's hat or cap on in Mongolia, reports as of now. Alright, and there's a video down here which is 29 seconds just showing some of the findings. Most interesting, don't you agree? Okay. Let's move on from here to the next story. Okay, now we're going to go up to a old picture from Apollo 10. And remember the black night satellite? Well, this is supposed to be it here. Possibly found in this photograph here. The black night satellite is an object orbiting Earth in near polar and is estimated to be over 13,000 years old. The satellite was built by aliens. We've certainly seen better pictures than this of that, but pretty amazing that this thing's been out there and found to be as old as it is. Here, StreetCap, one of YouTube, has found an old Apollo 10 photo. Okay. Pretty cool. So 13,000 years. It means we've been being monitored for quite some time. Because we certainly haven't been around long enough to put a satellite in the air and then be here 13,000 years for that. Okay, links available, firstcontactradio.com. Interview with Richard Gray of Educating Humanity. This is an interview that I had with Rick Scholar from the topic UFO. I hope you enjoy watching this as much as I enjoyed talking about my sightings with Rick. If you care to read more about the UFO sighting, you can do so by following. And there's a link here to the Educating Humanity site. Now, I'm not going to play this interview. It's 40 minutes in length. I'm going to leave that for you. But it's a good interview. I was listening to it myself. I think you'll find it very interesting indeed. This is just a graphic of what was seen. Okay, let me move on from here. Alright, cylindrical shaped UFO hovers above the trees. This goes back to 1965. I was in Lindley, New York on a warm summer night in July 1965 when a Steuben County family had their close encounter with a flying saucer. Larry told me that he was 9 years old when it happened. The day had been very warm. Just after Larry's father loaded the family into the car for a drive through the local countryside to take in some cool country air. The family was traveling on Tannery Creek Road east towards Canton, New York. As they drove up down the hill back roads, Larry suddenly spotted something bright just above the tree line as they were approaching the outskirts of Canton. When Larry pointed out to his parents, his dad pulled the car off the road and the whole family took a good look. Larry explained that the object was perhaps 1,000 yards away and hovering just above the tree line. Initially, he said the object was sort of saucer-shaped. A career engineer, he struggled for a better description. It was very cylinder-shaped, but wide and flat like a tuna can, and it was large. Looking at the floor, he pondered for a few seconds, then continued his description. It had bright lights that ringed around the bottom perimeter. The lights flashed in an irregular pattern, almost giving the object the appearance that perhaps it was slowly rotating. He told me that his immediate family and one of his aunts were in a state of complete wonderment, watching this amazing phenomena that was leisurely hovering over the local forest perhaps 5 minutes. Then the saucer-shaped object suddenly began to slowly rise until it was perhaps twice the distance from the ground. It stopped for a moment, then shot away at a tremendous speed. Larry got quiet. I could see in his eyes that he was in deep moment for long ago. Then he told me, and he said, the strangest and most unnerving thing about the whole sighting was that the craft didn't make a single sound. I asked the rest of the family's reaction regarding what they had just seen. Larry explained that aside from being awestruck during the event, he couldn't remember anyone else except his elderly aunt mentioning the event ever again. The last thing he said to me before departing, You know, you never quite forget a thing like this. It's as clear to me as now as when it happened. I assured him that I hear a lot from these folks with close encounters. Okay? Cool story back from 1965. Now up to the moon. Ever since the lunar eclipse, we have seen a huge influx of objects transiting the moon. Many hundreds a night. Here is one of those objects in a diagram that demonstrates what we have learned about these UFOs since the lunar eclipse last month. So we have a video here. It's 5 minutes and 30 seconds, showing lots of videos here. And you can see there's right there, I mean, there's claims in this video, hundreds of them being seen a night. There's another one right there. Okay. And there's another. So you can just zip right through this video. And as you zip through, you'll continue to see a variety of different things flying over the moon. And it certainly isn't us or anyone that we know from down here. Okay, it's a... Alright, here's some other technical stuff, line of sight stuff, what have you. So check out the video. Alright, here's another video for you to watch. I'm not going to play this one. I'm just going to give you the info. It's evidence of a secret colony on Mars has sparked the interest of UFO researchers around the world. Recent whistleblower revelations from President Eisenhower's great-granddaughter and others give renewed credence to the evidence that planet Mars is being prepared as a survival colony in the face of imminent catastrophic events that may decimate the population of the planet. This film presents the best evidence available, and there is indeed life on Mars. 32 minutes for this video. Check it out. I'm leaving the link, and I'm moving on. And here we have last story for today, UFO related. Blue UFO sighting in the sky above Washington, May 11th. This is new interesting footage of a bright blue UFO recorded in the night sky above Washington on May 11th. This traveled over Washington skies. There was a space of sightings around the world this past month of fast-moving and intelligent blue UFOs worldwide. And there it is. It's a 4-minute, 49-second video of the blue UFO. This one definitely is very, very blue. Alright, very interesting. Let's see. You should see it momentarily here. There it is again. Blue UFO. And then it goes the other way. Okay, very cool. So lots of good sightings going on. That is our UFO news. You know, over the weekend I watched Close Encounters of the Third Kind again, and now there's this new version out. It's the same story, but they've certainly remastered it, and it looks pretty cool. And I'm telling you, I've watched that movie a number of times, and every time I see something a little bit different that I didn't notice the time before. So if you get a chance, check it out. You can certainly find it online. You can find it on, it's running on cable, and find the high definition version, and it's really cool just how clear things are and some of the things that show up in there. Alright, there you have it. That's our UFO news. I'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Come into our circle, Great Spirit. Fill our souls with peace.
Send down your love to us from above.
I thought that I would start off the week by bringing some quotations about faith. We could all use a little more faith in our life, right? So I thought I'd just rattle off some of these. I've got 4 sites here that have quotations about faith. First one here. And some of these are from movies, some of these are from people that were well-known, intellectuals during their time or political leaders and so on. There's a variety of sources. Faith is believing in something when common sense tells you not to. It's from the movie Miracle on 34th Street. God didn't promise days without pain, laughter without sorrow, or sun without rain, but he did promise strength for the day, comfort for the tears, and light for the way. If God brings it to you, he will bring you through it. Here's a poem that will give you goosebumps. A drunk man in an Oldsmobile, they said, had run the light that caused a 6-car pileup on 109 that night. When broken bodies lay about and blood was everywhere, the siren screamed out eulogies, for death was in the air. A mother trapped inside the car was heard above the noise. Her plaintive plea near split the ear, "Oh God, please spare my boys." She fought to lose her pinned hand. She struggled to get free, but mangled metal held her fast in grim captivity. Her frightened eyes then focused on where the back seat once had been, but all she saw was broken glass and 2 children's seats crushed in. Her twins were nowhere to be seen. She did not hear them cry, and then she prayed they had been thrown free. Oh God, don't let them die. Then firemen came and cut her loose, but when they searched the back, they found therein no little boys, but the seat belts were intact. They thought the woman had gone mad and was traveling alone, but when they turned to question her, they discovered she was gone. Policemen saw her running wild and screaming above the noise, in beseeching supplication, "Please help me find my boys. They're 4 years old and wear blue shirts. Their jeans are blue to match. When cops spoke up, they're in my car and they don't have a scratch. They said their daddy put them there and gave them each a cone. They told them both to wait for Mom to come and take them home. I searched the area high and low, but I can't find their dad. He must have fled the scene, I guess, and that is very bad." The mother hugged the twins and said, while wiping at her tear, "He could not flee the scene, you see, for he's been dead a year." The cop just looked confused and asked how that can be true. The boys said, "Mommy, Daddy came and left a kiss for you. He told us not to worry and that you would be all right. And then he put us in this car with the pretty flashing light. We wanted him to stay with us because we miss him so. But Mommy, he just hugged us tight and said he had to go. He said someday we'd understand, and he told us not to fuss. He said to tell you, Mommy, he's watching over us." The mother knew without a doubt that what they spoke was true, for she recalled their dad's last words, "I will watch over you." The fireman's notes could not explain the twisted mangled car and how the 3 of them escaped without a single scar. But on the cop's report was scribed in print so very fine, "An angel walked the beat tonight on Highway 109. That's pretty cool. Here we go. One day a 6-year-old was sitting in a classroom. The teacher was going to explain evolution to the children. The teacher asked the little boy, "Tommy, do you see the tree outside?" Tommy said yes. "Tommy, do you see the grass outside?" Tommy said yes. Teacher said, "Go look outside and see if you can see the sky." Okay. He returned a few minutes later. "Yes, I saw the sky." Teacher said, "Did you see God?" Tommy said, "No." "Well, that's my point. We can't see God because he isn't there. He doesn't exist." A little girl spoke up and wanted to ask the boy some questions. The teacher agreed, and the little girl asked the little boy, "Tommy, do you see the tree outside?" "Yes." "Tommy, do you see the grass outside?" "Yes." "Tommy, do you see the sky?" "Yes." "Tommy, do you see your teacher?" "Yes." "Tommy, do you see her brain?" "No." "Then according to what you were taught today in school, she must not have one." Burn. For we walk by faith, not sight. That's a good one. Sometimes the things we can't change end up changing us instead. Faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase. Martin Luther King Jr. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it isn't there. You can't see the future, yet you know it will come. You can't see the air, yet you continue to breathe. Claire London. I don't pray for God to take my problems away. I pray only for God to give me the strength to go through them. A little girl went to her bedroom, pulled up a glass jelly jar from its hiding place in the closet. She poured the change out onto the floor and counted it exactly 3 times even. The total had to be exactly perfect. No chance here for mistakes. Carefully placing the coins in the jar and twisting on the cap, she slipped out the back door and made her way 6 blocks to Rexall's drugstore, with the big red Indian chief sign above the door. She waited patiently for the pharmacist to give her some attention, but he was too busy at the moment. Tess twisted her feet to make scuffling noise. Nothing. She cleared her throat with the most disgusting sound she could muster. No good. Finally, she took a quarter from the jar and banged it on the glass counter. That did it. "And what do you want?" the pharmacist asked in an annoyed tone of voice. I'm talking to my brother from Chicago who I haven't seen in ages," he said without waiting for a reply to his question. "Well, I want to talk to you about my brother," Tess answered, back in the same annoyed tone. "He's really, really sick, and I want to buy a miracle." "I beg your pardon," said the pharmacist. "His name is Andrew, and he has something bad growing inside of him, his head, and my daddy says only a miracle can save him now. So how much does a miracle cost?" "We don't sell miracles here, little girl. I'm sorry, but I can't help you," the pharmacist said, softening a little. "Listen, I have the money to pay for it. If it isn't enough, I will just get the rest. Just tell me how much it cost." The pharmacist's brother was a well-dressed man. He stooped down and asked the little girl, "Well, what kind of miracle does your brother need?" "I don't know," Tess replied with her eyes welling up. "I just know he's really sick and Mommy says he needs an operation. But my daddy can't pay for it, so I want to use my money." "How much do you have?" says the man from Chicago. $1.11, Tess answered barely audibly. "And it's all the money I have, but I can get more if I need to." "Well, what a coincidence," smiled the man. $1.11, the exact price of a miracle for little brothers. He took her money in one hand, and with the other hand he grasped her mitten and said, "Take me to where you live. I want to see your little brother meet your parents. Let's see if I have a miracle you need." That well-dressed man was Dr. Carl Armstrong, a surgeon specializing in neurosurgery. The operation was completed free of charge, and it wasn't long until Andrew was home again and doing well. Mom and Dad were happily talking about the chain of events that had led to this place. That surgery, her mom whispered, was a real miracle. I wonder how much it would have cost. Tess smiled. She knew exactly how much a miracle cost. $1.11, plus the faith of a little child. Pretty cool. All right, let me go on to the next page here. Here's some more. First one's from Mother Teresa. "Be faithful in small things, because it is in them that your strength lies." Martin Luther King. "Faith is taking the first step even though you don't see the whole staircase." It's worth repeating. Also, take the first step in faith. You don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step. Gandhi. "Before the throne of the Almighty, man will be judged not by his acts, but by his intentions, for God alone reads our hearts." All who call on God in true faith, earnestly from the heart, will certainly be heard, and will receive what they asked and desired. Martin Luther. When you focus on being a blessing, God always makes sure that you are always blessed in abundance. Joel Osteen. God always makes the simplest way. Einstein. That deep emotional conviction of the presence of a superior reasoning power which is revealed in the incomprehensible universe forms my idea of God. Albert Einstein. Doubt is a pain too, lonely to know that faith is his twin brother. That was Khalil Gibran. If patience is worth anything, it must endure to the end of time, and the living faith will last in the midst of the blackest storm. Gandhi. Joel Osteen. Faith activates God, fear activates the enemy. The keys to patience are acceptance and faith. Accept things as they really are. and look realistically at the world around you. Have faith in yourself and the direction you have chosen. Ralph Marston. God didn't make a mistake when he made you. You need to see yourself as God sees you. Joel Osteen. Faith is a knowledge within the heart beyond the reach of proof. Kilal Gibran. Faith is the strength by which a shattered world shall emerge into the light. Helen Keller. Faith is to believe what you do not see. The reward of this faith is to see what you believe. St. Augustine. God will never give you anything that you can't handle, so don't stress. Kelly Clarkson. A casual stroll through the lunatic asylum shows that faith does not prove anything. Friedrich Nietzsche. Faith consists in believing when it is beyond the power of reason to believe. Voltaire. We are never defeated unless we give up on God. Ronald Reagan. As your faith is strengthened, you will find that there is no longer the need to have a sense of control, that things will flow as they will, and that you will flow with them to your great delight and benefit. Emmanuel Tenay. Faith, not wanting to know what is true. Friedrich Nietzsche. C.S. Lewis, I gave in and admitted that God was God. Marcellus Aurelius Cicero, a man of courage, is also a man of faith. And APJ Abdul Kalam, God our Creator has stored within our minds and personalities great potential strength and ability. Prayer helps us tap and develop these powers. All right, let's go to another page here. I believe in Christianity as I believe that the sun has risen, not only because I see it, but because I see everything else. C.S. Lewis. Some people don't understand the promises they're making when they make them, I said. Right, of course, but you keep the promise anyway. That's what love is. Love is keeping the promise anyways. John Green. I believe in everything until it's disproved, so I believe in fairies, the myths, dragons. It all exists, even if it's in your mind. Who's to say that dreams and nightmares aren't as real as they are here and now? John Lennon. I think if I've learned anything about friendships, it's to hang in, stay connected, fight for them, and let them fight for you. Don't walk away. Don't be distracted. Don't be too busy or tired. Don't take them for granted. Friends are part of the glue that holds life together. Powerful stuff. John Katz. Edgar Allan Poe. I have great faith in fools. Self-confidence, my friends will call it. J.R. Tolkien. Faithless is he that says farewell when the road darkens. All the world is made of faith and trust and pixie dust. J.M. Barrie, Peter Pan. And now these three remain, faith, hope, and love, but the greatest of these is love. This is an anonymous from the King James Version of the Bible. If he's not calling you, it's because you are not in his mind. If he creates expectations for you and then doesn't follow through on little things, he will do the same for big things. Be aware of this and realize that he's okay with disappointing you. Don't be with someone who doesn't do what they say they're going to do. If he's choosing not to make a simple effort that would put you at ease and bring harmony to a recurring fight, then it doesn't respect your feelings and needs. Busy is another word for asshole. Asshole is another word for the guy you're dating. You deserve a freaking phone call. Greg Brennett. All right. God will not look you over for medals, degrees, or diplomas, but for scars. Faith is not the belief that God will do what you want. It is the belief that God will do what is right. Max Lucado. All right. And sometimes beautiful things come into our lives out of nowhere. We can't always understand them, but we have to trust in them. I know you want to question everything, but sometimes it just pays to have a little faith. Lauren Kate. All right, let me go to this next page here. One more. Sam Wigglesworth. I am not moved by what I see. I am moved by what I feel. I am moved only by what I believe. Kenneth E. Hagan Sr. Faith begins where the will of God is known. Laurie Huggins, faith is confidence in the veracity of what God has said. Charles Spurgeon, faith obliterates time, annihilates distance, and brings future things at once into its possession. Karimi, the Bible is not supposed to make sense, it is supposed to make faith. That's a good one. Carrie Judge Montgomery, you get faith by studying the Word. Study the Word until something in you knows that you know, and that you do not just have to hope that you know. Henry Clay Trumbull, not prayer without faith, nor faith without prayer, but prayer in faith is the cost of spiritual gifts and graces. Rex Roos, it is faith alone, in Christ alone, which alone moves God when you are alone. Sam Wigglesworth, how can one come to possess great faith? Now listen, here is the answer to that. First the blade, then the ear, then the full corn in the ear. Faith must grow by soil, moisture, and exercise. Rex Roos, faith is the witness of heaven upon our desires, hopes that give them spiritual reality, legal substance, and eventual visibility. The Bible in Basic English, Corinthians 4:13. The words of my mouth came from the faith in my heart. In the same way, our words are the outcomes of our faith. George Mueller, the beginning of anxiety is the end of faith, and the beginning of true faith is the end of anxiety. Kenneth E. Hagin Sr., feed your faith, starve your doubts. C. Newsom, faith is the hand with which we take from God. When we have met all the conditions and taken what God is offering to us, we must believe that we have that thing. Martin Luther, prayer is not overcoming God's reluctance, but laying hold of his willingness. D.S. Cairns, faith is not trustful acquiescence. Martin Luther, the whole being of any Christian is faith above love. Faith brings the person to God. Love brings the person to person. Rex Roos, seek faith at any cost. It is the evidence of the answer of God. Andrew Murray, faith expects from God what is beyond all expectation. Rex Roos, God is the judge. Jesus, our advocate. Faith, the evidence. Sam Wigglesworth, fear looks, faith jumps. Faith never fails to obtain its object. If I leave you as I found you, I am not God's channel. I'm not here to entertain you, but get you to the place where you can laugh at the impossible. Dwight Moody, a little faith will bring your soul to heaven, but a lot of faith will bring heaven to your soul. Andrew Womack, the effectiveness of our faith is directly proportionate to our acknowledgement of the good things that are in us in Christ Jesus. Joni Eareckson Tada, faith isn't the ability to believe long and far into the misty future. It's simply taking God at His word and taking the next step. Rex Roos, faith comes alive when the word read from the page becomes the word heard in your heart. Mark chapter 4, faith is like a seed planted in your heart. God gives the harvest at the appointed time. Matthew Barrett, faith is believing that God is going to take you places before you even get there. Okay. And one last, you can have hope without faith, but you cannot have faith without hope. Randy Furco. There's a lot more quotations about faith. Faith is really important, in this day and age. In this day and age, we're really challenged in our faith, aren't we? So many things that are out there that we can believe in, so many things that are false, but yet so many things that are true. And we need to use our sense of discernment to figure out what is what. But I know that we're all challenged in faith. But I also know that there's plenty of reminders that we have in this world that if we maintain our faithfulness, good things will come of it. Good things always come with faithfulness, and that's part of the process, and that's why faith has lasted so long, this test of time. That's why so many people talk about faith, because when you really exercise it, you find that the miracles you hear about actually do come forward in life. And then you find out that the miracles are just simply the perseverance that you had to believe in something until it came into manifestation. And that's what we all are working towards, aren't we? Now here, I'm going to switch gears here now. Here's a story. It says matter will be created from light within a year. Quite interesting if this comes about. In a neat demonstration of E equals mc squared physics, physicists believe they can create electrons and positrons from colliding photons. Researchers have worked out how to make matter from pure light and are drawing up plans to demonstrate the feat within the next 12 months. The theory underpinning the idea was first described 80 years ago by two physicists who later worked on the first atomic bomb. At that time, they considered a conversion of light into matter impossible in a laboratory. But in a report published on Sunday, physicists at Imperial College of London claimed to have cracked the problem using high-powered lasers and other equipment now available to scientists. We have shown in principle how to make matter from light, says Stephen Rose at Imperial. If you do this experiment, you will be taking light and turning it into matter. The scientists are on the verge of a machine that can create everyday objects from a sudden blast of laser energy. The kind of matter they aim to make in the form of subatomic particles invisible to the naked eye. The original idea was written down by two U.S. physicists Gregory Brett and John Wheeler in 1934. They worked out that very rarely two particles of light or photons could combine to produce an electron and its antimatter equivalent, a positron. Electrons are particles of matter that form the outer shells of atoms in the everyday objects around us. But Brett and Wheeler had no expectation that the theory would be proved anytime soon. In their study, the physicists hoped that the process was so rare and hard to produce that it would be hopeless to try to observe the pair formation in the laboratory experiments. Oliver Pike, the lead researcher on the study, said that the process was one of the most elegant demonstrations of Einstein's famous relationship that shows matter and energy are interchangeable currencies. The Brett-Wheeler process is the simplest way matter can be made from light to one of the most purest demonstrations of E equals mc squared, he said. Okay, there's a lot more to the article you could see. I'm going to leave that for you. It's interesting, though, if you recall, like the life and teachings of the masters of the Far East, how many times do you recall in the story where the masters would walk into a room and there would be food on the table? Suddenly light would fill the room. And these things that are being talked about here, being manifest in experiments, are being manifest instantaneously from their hands, just from their thoughts and ideas. So pretty amazing just to see where science is, and then on the other hand where you have stories of faith, because the life and teachings of the masters of the Far East, in order to really believe that those things took place, you really have to have a degree of faith to believe that faith brought into manifestation all of those things. And it's a little bit different than what's going on here with this study, because they're looking to prove something. And what we've learned is faith isn't about proving, faith is about believing so much that what you believe comes into manifestation because of that belief. All right, our message for today, our channeled message. Well, let's go to this one first here. This is from In5D. It's an article about communicating with our guides, something we're always looking to do, have that extra communication. This is from Kelly Fitzgerald. Everyone has spirit guides, angels, familiars, elementals, whatever label you would like to attach to yours. They do not mind what we call them, and they don't even care if we acknowledge that they exist. These are beings made of pure love and light who exist solely to assist us. Learn to communicate with yours, and you will be amazed at the difference it makes in your life. I'm often asked how we go about communicating with these beings, and here is just one method I've taught others to do. The technique that I found to be the simplest for most people is to go outside and pick up the first two pebbles you are drawn to. The only criteria is that they fit well into your hand and they can fit into your pocket. Of course, you can use crystal sticks or whatever else you choose. The point is to have two separate items, one which will be your yes item and the other will be your no. For this text, I will use the word pebbles. Start by closely examining your pebbles. Notice how they are different or how they are similar. Feel the weight of each pebble in your hand. Is it smooth or rough? Decide which of these signify yes and which will be no. Hold your yes pebble and say the word yes to yourself, or out loud if you wish. Notice how the pebble feels as you say the word. Does it feel warm or cool? Does it seem to have a vibration to you? Whatever you feel is the right thing for you to be feeling, and it is okay if you feel nothing at all. Now do the same with your no pebble. Does it feel the same or different than the yes pebble? Many people have told me that they feel discernible differences in the energies between the two pebbles. If you do not, again, that is okay. Once you've gone through this exercise, choose a simple yes or no question to ask your guides. I usually advise people to choose an obvious question like, is the sky blue? But any straightforward question that can be answered with yes or no will work. Holding one pebble in each hand, close your eyes, open your mind, and ask your question. In my suggested question of, is the sky blue, you would feel drawn to the yes pebble. If I had asked, is my name Rufus Ratsis, I would feel drawn to the no pebble. As always, it is okay if you feel nothing the first few or even several times. Often it takes a lot of practice to open our minds enough to actually feel the pebbles. However long it takes you is the right amount of time for you. Once you're able to feel the answers, though, your pebbles are ready to move you onto asking questions of your guides. The first few times you try to communicate with your guides, you may feel a little awkward, and that is okay. With practice, it will get easier, and you will feel more comfortable. First off, you need a quiet place where you will not be disturbed. Many people prefer going outside, but you can just as easily be inside. You must always begin at your beginning, and the first step in communicating with these beings is to center yourself and quiet your mind. Visualize a white light entering the top of your head and continuing down your spine, eventually leaving your body through your feet and going into the ground. Since you are just beginning to communicate with your guide, instead of asking for complex answers to complex questions, just ask simple yes or no questions at first. Take several deep breaths, clear your thoughts. If you are familiar with meditating, this is where we're going to hear. Get comfortable, close your eyes, and relax. Set a mental intention to communicate with your guides and formulate your yes or no questions. With the pebble in each hand, ask your question. You should feel drawn to one pebble or the other. After a while, you'll feel you no longer need your pebbles in order to receive answers from your guides. Like any new skill, this takes a bit of practice. Eventually, you'll become so proficient at seeking answers from your guides in time, you will simply be able to ask a mental question and receive an answer. Don't be frustrated if it takes a long time for you to do. There are truly no time limit on learning to communicate with your guides. They will be there for you anyway. So that's cool. Lots of people have different ways they communicate with guides. Some people use pendulums. Some people, there's a system where you can, you take your two little finger and thumb and your other fingers, and you ask a yes or no question, and yes, fingers stay together. If it's no, they come apart. So you can ask questions that way, and how your body might respond to answering those questions. There's a lot of different ways people have. The whole idea is that we do reach out to communicate to these unseen entities around us because they are there to assist us. That's part of the process. We help each other out when we're here, and when we're not here, we're helping each other out. Okay, so check out the different methods out there. If you have any questions about, the pendulum method or those, send me an email and I'll tell you more about that one. And anyway, the article's here so you can read through it and practice communicating with your guides if you already haven't. And now that brings us up to our message for today, and this is from the High Council of Orion. Here we go.
Orion High Council, by Isabel H., May the 18th, 2014.
Dear children of the earth, change is here, and so it has always been. Sometimes these changes feel small, and sometimes much greater. Sometimes you can feel it, other times you see or hear of it, but change is consistent and unavoidable. So, be gentle on yourselves and try not to resist it. Resisting change will only make it harder for yourself. So let the great energies of change in, go with the flow, so to speak, and this will accelerate you towards greater good and many new exciting experiences in your life.
How do you advise us to do this? I know, of course, letting go. but please explain, so all can understand and put this to practice.
Yes, of course, letting go of past traumas and old experiences is one of the most important factors of the big changes on a personal level. Without be willing to let go, you cannot fully appreciate the new things coming to you. You might not even notice them at all, if you dwelling in the past. And of course, love in everything. Love what you do or do not do. Embrace change with love. Meet people with love. Meet experiences with love. This way you can reach its full potential. Let go of not being happy as you are, in the now. Seek something that brings you joy. Because if you are unhappy and focus thereon, you will only create more things to be unhappy about. So again we preach to you love. The highest frequency available to you is love, so let it in. Love is always trying to find you. Are you allowing love? Or are you disregarding it and giving it the meaning of something else? You must let down your barriers of good and bad, let go of having to judge everything as either or. This will only keep you away from love, form happiness, because, when you give meaning to something as bad or evil, you are focusing energy on bad and evil, and therefore you are attracting more things that you can give this meaning to. Everything that comes into your life, comes with love. It is what you have been asking for, even if you do not care much for it. If you didn't send out an energy signature of wanting to create this, you wouldn't have, so it was given to you in love because you asked of it. This is why having time to manifest your real wishes is important to anyone looking for happiness. Otherwise most of your life's event will come from your thoughts, feelings, and definitions. Are you a conscious creator? Or are you just pondering along on everything you get, being unhappy about your manifestations? This is why we suggest to you all, dear ones, take time to wish, to fantasize about what you would like. This can be done in many ways, through meditation and visualizing, thought writing about it, or asking out loud for it. There are many ways to let your wishes be known. You all have great creativity, so use this in your day-to-day life for manifesting your desires. Dear ones, let go, and let live. This is a great mantra. Welcome in the new, without too many expectations but with hope and love. Do not be too quick on judging, giving negative meanings stemming from your fears. Look closely and you will see, everything you experience has a gift for you to receive. So are you receiving or are you resisting? Look past your fears and judgments and you will soon see the beauty of creation. We send you much love and crystal lights of awareness and faith. Orion High Council of Light.
Alright, that's a good message. You ever see like, what is it, like in the Animal Planets or some of the animal shows where they're showing behavior patterns, and they'll show like a monkey or a raccoon, and they'll have like a little trap set up, which is some little device with a hole in it, and inside would be a nut or piece of food, and the animal reaches in, the monkey will grab the banana or the coconut, or the raccoon reaches in and grabs the nuts, and then they can't get their hands out of the hole, they're stuck, and then eventually they get caught. Well, it's a good lesson for us to learn, because had the monkey just let go of the banana, the monkey could take his hand out. The raccoon could move free and they wouldn't be caught. Well, that's what happens with us in life. We oftentimes hang on to something so long that our hands are stuck in the cage and we can't get free. And all we have to do, just like the animals, is just let go sometimes. And in letting go, we find that the thing we were holding on to is the thing that was holding us back. So it's just something that's an important lesson, I think, for all of us to learn. I certainly go through all of these challenges like everyone else. And just a good reminder, we need to let go at times. So let's think about letting go as we do our meditation for today. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And exhale. Take another deep breath. And exhale again. I want you to imagine that you are holding on to something very, very tightly. And as you hold on to whatever it is that you're holding on to, just imagine this thing pulling you down, pulling you away from where you want to be. And yet, the more you get pulled away, the harder you hold on, feeling that this is your life support. And as you begin to drift further and further away from where you want to be, eventually you let go. And as soon as you let go, you find that the thing you let go of drifts away quickly, and you begin to drift back towards where it is you want to be. And you realize that the thing that you wanted the most was the thing that was available to you at all times, simply by letting go of all of the other things that were holding you back. So imagine yourself now moving freely through life, having let go of the things which are holding you back. And just take a moment just to imagine yourself letting go. Letting go of the job you think you need, or the money you think you have to have, or the career, or the relationship, or anything else. Just let go and let God. And as you let go, feel the weight lifted off of you. Feel yourself being lighter and lighter as you are able to now move free without anything holding you, without you holding on to anything. And just imagine yourself freely moving through life. Contemplate the affirmation for today. I am in control of my life. I am in control of my life. And we are in control of the things we hold on to and the things we let go of. The things we choose to do and the things we walk away from. The faith we express or the doubts we look at. It's all our choice. So choose the faith. Choose to let go. Choose the love. And as we move in love, faith, we find ourselves moving closer to that which is in line with our heart's desire. And we find it happening in ways we couldn't have imagined. So just imagine yourself going through the world today and looking at any situation that occurs in your life as simply a test, a moment to either let go or hold on. And open your mind so that you can make the proper choice for you. So just imagine yourself going through life experiencing either letting go or holding on, having faith. And let your subconscious mind continue on that journey. And let's bring our conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale and open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That's our show for today. Thanks for being here. This gets our week started. A little bit of faithful ideas and thoughts. Tomorrow, on to the Book of Urantia. So we'll be dealing with that then and all the rest of the stuff for the week. Have an awesome day. Have a day of faith and letting go of the things you no longer need. I'll be back tomorrow. Till then, be safe. Have fun. I love you. Talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.